Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining me today because we're about to demystify the cosmic clockwork of our very own planet. It's so easy to just go about our days feeling completely stationary, right? But the reality is that every single second of your life is being dictated by these invisible, massive dual engines driving our reality. Today we're going to map out exactly how those engines work, breaking down some seriously massive planetary concepts into clear, undeniable facts. Let's get into it. To really kick things off and put our situation into perspective, I just want you to think about this number, 1,670 kilometers per hour. Literally right now, if you're standing anywhere along the equator, you are hurtling through space at that absolutely dizzying speed. It's an incredible velocity. Yet the rotation is so perfectly smooth and gravity is so effective that we just don't feel a thing as we drink our coffee and go about our day. Though, as a quick side note, as you move toward the poles, that speed gradually decreases all the way down to zero. So let's dive into this, because this is where the physics gets fascinatingly terrifying. What would actually happen if someone hit the cosmic brakes and the Earth just suddenly failed to rotate? The source material lays out a genuinely disastrous scenario. If the Earth were to just stop spinning, the side facing the sun would be perpetually illuminated. It would become extremely, scorchingly hot. Meanwhile, the side facing away, well, that would remain in permanent darkness and become freezing cold. Life forms simply wouldn't be able to exist in such extreme, polarized conditions. And the patterns of tides, ocean currents, and wind systems, they'd be completely unrecognizable. It really makes you appreciate that constant, dizzying motion we take for granted, right? All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, Earth's dizzying daily spin. 2, living in the spin. 3, the grand yearly journey. 4, the true cause of seasons. And 5, solstices, equinoxes, and extremes. Section 1, Earth's dizzying daily spin. Let's nail down our first key term here, rotation. This is simply the Earth spinning on its axis from west to east. It takes about 24 hours to complete one full rotation. We call this 24-hour cycle an Earth day, or a solar day. It's that constant, steady pirouette that dictates the fundamental rhythm of every living thing on the planet. And the cascading effects of this 24-hour rotation? They are absolutely crucial to our physical world. Most obviously, it gives us day and night. But physically, this rapid spinning causes the Earth to actually bulge out at the equator and flatten at the poles. It also causes the deflection, which is essentially a pushing away from a straight path of our global winds and ocean currents. Plus, it works alongside the gravity of the moon and sun to create the alternate rise and fall of our ocean tides. And of course, it creates the grand illusion of the apparent movement of all the heavenly bodies, making the sun and the stars appear to travel from east to west across our sky. Section 2, living in the spin. Because our planet is a sphere, only one half of it can possibly face the sun at any given time. This creates a hard boundary called the circle of illumination. This distinct line literally separates the lighted half, the side experiencing day, from the darker half turned away experiencing night. Over the course of 24 hours, you, your house, your entire city physically cross through this invisible circle over and over again. What's actually really interesting here is the precise scientific distinction between dawn and dusk. As places on Earth pass into or out of that circle of illumination, we get these beautiful transition periods. Dawn is that very specific time of day just before sunrise, when the eastern horizon is just starting to get lighter. Dusk, or twilight, is the exact opposite. It happens just after the sun sets in the west. Most of the sky is dark, sure, but there's this lingering light clinging to the western horizon. These moments are literally the soft edges of our planet's shadow. Section 3, the grand yearly journey. Okay, so let's shift gears to our second major planetary engine, revolution. Now, it is absolutely vital we never confuse this with rotation. While rotation is spinning in place, revolution is the movement of the Earth physically traveling all the way around the sun. It takes a little over 365 days, one full year, to complete one lap. The actual path it takes around the sun is known as its orbit, and the plane in which it travels is called the ecliptic. Now here's where it gets wild. That orbit, it's elliptical. It's shaped roughly like an egg, not a perfect circle. Because of this, our physical distance from the sun actually changes throughout the year. We hit our closest point, which is called perihelion, in early January. That's about 147 million kilometers from the sun. Then we hit our farthest point, apophis, in early July, at roughly 152 million kilometers away. Do you notice something totally counterintuitive there? If you live in the northern hemisphere, you are actually closest to the sun in the dead of winter. That single brilliant fact proves once and for all that our distance from the sun does not dictate our seasons. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, the true cause of seasons. The entire secret to our seasons comes down to the tilt. The Earth's axis is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees from the vertical. And as we revolve around the sun, this tilted axis always points in the exact same direction. Consequently, for part of the year, one half of the Earth is leaning physically towards the sun. That half gets direct, vertical rays that deliver more intense heat and longer days. The half leaning away, it gets slanted rays, less heat, and way shorter days. Think about it. If our axis were perfectly straight up and down, every single place on Earth would receive the exact same amount of light each day. Days and nights would be a static 12 hours everywhere, and seasons simply wouldn't exist. Section 5. Solstices, equinoxes, and extremes. It's honestly fascinating to track how the Earth's tilt creates a perfect inverse relationship between the top and bottom of the globe. Let's walk through it. On June 21st, the northern hemisphere leans heavily towards the sun. The sun's rays fall vertically, right on the Tropic of Cancer. This is the summer solstice, the absolute longest day of the year, and the official start of summer in the north, while it kicks off winter in the south. Fast forward to December 22nd, and the roles flip entirely. The southern hemisphere is now inclined toward the sun, hitting its summer solstice while the north freezes in winter. Meanwhile, on March 21st and September 23rd, we hit the equinoxes. Neither pole tilts toward the sun. The sun shines vertically directly on the equator, giving us equal days, equal nights, and equal heating across the entire world. Spring in one hemisphere perfectly mirrors autumn in the other.
Now remember how I said revolution takes a little over 365 days? Specifically, it's 365 and 1/4 days. And that extra 6 hours every year doesn't just magically disappear. For our own convenience, we use a neat 365-day calendar, but we save up those leftover quarter days, and every 4 years, they add up to exactly 24 hours. We tack that one extra day onto February, giving us a leap year of 366 days. But wait, here's a really fascinating extra rule from the source text. Century years, like 1900 or 2000, are leap years only if they are divisible by 400. So the year 1900, actually not a leap year, even though it divides perfectly by 4. It's just a brilliant piece of math we use to keep our rigid human calendars aligned with the messy reality of a cosmic orbit.
The results of this tilted system can get pretty extreme and visually breathtaking. Up near the poles, you can experience what's known as the midnight sun. Because of that 23.5-degree tilt, as the Earth rotates daily, the pole that's currently pointed toward the sun physically cannot fall into shadow. It just experiences continuous, non-stop daylight. The midnight sun at the poles lasts for up to 6 whole months. Meanwhile, the opposite pole, tilted entirely away from the sun, is plunged into the continuous shadow of the polar night for those exact same 6 months. Before we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a staggering, deeply humbling thought. The source text notes that while our Earth is busy rotating to give us days and revolving to give us years, our entire solar system is constantly hurtling through the Milky Way galaxy at a speed of more than 200 kilometers per second. And beyond even that, all the galaxies in the universe appear to be moving outward as the universe expands. So as you sit there right now, feeling perfectly still, supported by the ground beneath you, what other unseen cosmic motions are actively shaping your reality right now? Thank you so much for exploring the cosmic clockwork with me today. Keep questioning the world around you.